Okay, so this one's a little long. Probably not going to get all of it in the shot. But this is my fcx24 Atlas mashup, okay? I've done a video on a kind of a quick walkthrough on this deal, but I'll do a little bit more in-depth walkthrough on it. So it is a fcx24 based. Let's pop the body off so we can see. It's got the FCX transmission and portal axles, but it's got the Furatech FCX24 titanium chassis with the 2FM colorway, which is just however you, what do you call it? Anodized titanium or heat treat, whatever it is, to rainbow it. But I went with this like I did with my other little Pete. I wanted a metal chassis for strength because I'm not the most caring when I'm out crawling. I'll send it on the most difficult task. But it's the Furatech 2FM chassis for the FCX24, and then the back half from here back is of the Atlas 6x6. So I just cut it to make it match the contour of this little curve right here, bolted it to the chassis. So this right here goes through and it bolts to the chassis. So it's got no wiggle, super tight. But I'm using stretched links for the middle so it fits the big rig body good. And then I'm using the back half for the rear suspension. This is all for the Atlas 6x6. That's the whole rear suspension. It appears that I have had a shock fall off during transport, which is not an uncommon thing for me to have. Just gotta find the right screwdriver. They say you're supposed to go over these things every now and then, make sure all the screws are tight. That's why I kind of wanted it strong, because I don't normally do that. But same as my other little Peterbilt rig, same thing, as almost exact same setup as that one. We've got these are SDS wheels, so they've got the really thick brass inner ring, so they're heavy. We got Little Guy Swamp Kings all the way around, so all 10 are Little Guy Swamp Kings. But I'm running brass portal case, brass T-hub. This is a brass bar on this one, brass steering link. I don't know if you can see that, but we got brass steering link. I have not upgraded the front links yet. They're still plastic with the Y. So far, they've been working pretty good. I haven't had an issue, but I've got an axial SCX24 front drive shaft, and I think this is for the Gladiator or the K10. And then for the rear, I'm using a Gladiator rear drive shaft because it's the longest. Don't mind the sand. We went to Galveston, and it happened quick on the ride home, rusted out, but still works fine. Until it breaks, it won't be replaced. But I made my own links. These are M2 ball links. This has a brass threaded rod on the inside with an aluminum rod on the outside for a little bit of strength. And then the rear, or the middle, I'm sorry, has brass portal housings, both sides. So basically, to do the pass-through, you take two axle halves with the input side and you just butt them up to each other. They'll thread through and they'll screw tight together. And then you might have to shim one side or both sides of your input pinion shaft just so it makes good contact and it doesn't have a slip. That's what I found out. I was having a slip in here. I put a little shim and it's been working good ever since. I'm sorry. I do have the FCX24 shocks all the way around. I was running oil in them, but I think all of my oil has leaked out because there is no more you call it resistance in that. It's all bounce. But Same as the front, I've got SDS wheels, front and back, all 10 are the same. I don't know if you can see in there, but I've got 10 SDS wheels, 10 Swamp Kings. Super good truck. It does, this is probably my second best crawler just because of the traction with it being a cheetah rig. And this is a 1/25th scale Peterbilt model kit. I think it's a Revel kit. The plastic stacks I've experimented and they broke. So what these are is a solid aluminum bar stock. My other one, let me just grab this body. My other one, what I have done is use the plastic from the model kit and then used a slightly bigger pipe or aluminum tubing, but they start to get all wonky. I don't know if you can see that. This one's kind of leaned over a little bit. So I end up more time fixing it than I do just driving it around. But this aluminum bar stock will break the body before it bends. So that's why I went like that. It looks a little bit better, just a solid pipe, kind of like a show truck. I wish I just had to polish it to get it that nice chrome-like finish, and it would probably pop really good. But this thing, let's get some footage of this. I'm gonna throw some footage of this crawling around from Galveston. Good big rocks to crawl on down there. This thing just kind of ate it up. It does need a lot of room to turn around because I haven't done rear steer on this yet. That's probably next. I did have it set up with all 3 axles rear steering. The ESC can't handle, just off the bat, the ESC can't handle that much power draw with 2 servos. So it gets a little weird and it'll turn, but then one will lock and then one will kind of turn. So I just eliminated it, no more headache. But for what it can do, it does it really good. I think it's like a Caterpillar. But if you ever see me talking about this, if you ever meet me in person, I call this the little pink Peter. Not to be nasty, just because it's a little pink Peterbilt.